Okay, guys, we're going to do another story time today. So this time we are going to be reading Arrow to the Sun by Gerald McDermott. And this book received the Caldecott Medal. That's what this little stamp means on the front of the book. So before we get started, I think it's important, maybe in your classrooms, if you are a kid watching the video, maybe in your classrooms you've talked about the difference between fiction books and non-fiction books. If not, a fiction book means that it's not real. So the author came up with the story and created this book for you. And if a book is non-fiction, that means that it was factual, that it was done in order to give you guys information, true information. So before we read this story, I do want to say that this story takes place in a Pueblo Indian village. And the Pueblo Indians are characters within this story. And this is a fiction story, so which means that the author came up with the story on his own. So I want us to remember while we're reading that we know that that means that it's possible that not everything in this story that they say about the Pueblo Indians is 100% factual, because it's a fiction book. So it's just a story, okay? So now that we've got that out of the way, I think we can start the book. Okay. So this is Arrow to the Sun. Okay, let's see. Long ago, the Lord of the Sun sent the spark of life to Earth. It traveled down the rays of the sun through the heavens, and it came to the Pueblo. There it entered the house of a young maiden. So there's the young maiden. In this way, the boy came into the world of men. So there's the young maiden. She has the boy. And there he is, all grown up. He lived and grew and played in the Pueblo, but the other boys would not let him join their games. "Where is your father?" they asked. "You have no father," they mocked him and chased him away. The boy and his mother were very sad. "Mother," he said one day, "I must look for my father. No matter where he is, I must find him." So the boy left home. So there's the boys that wouldn't let him play. There's our main character, and he's going to find his father. He traveled through the world of men and came to a corn planter. "Can you lead me to my father?" he asked. Corn planter said nothing, but continued to tend his crops. So there's the corn planter. The boy went to the pot maker. "Can you lead me to my father?" the boy asked. But the pot maker said nothing, but continued to make her clay pots. Then the boy went to Arrow Maker, who was a wise man. "Can you lead me to my father?" Arrow Maker did not answer. But because he was wise, he saw that the boy had come from the sun. So he created a special arrow. The boy became the arrow. So down at the bottom we have the bow and the Arrow Maker. So this boy's going to become the arrow. Okay. The arrow maker fitted the boy to his bow and drew it. The boy flew into the heavens. In this way, the boy traveled to the sun. So there he is, becoming the arrow, and he's going to travel to the sun. Wow. So there's the arrow shooting straight for the sun. If you look closely, you can see there's the boy. When the boy saw the mighty Lord, he cried, "Father, it is I, your son." "Perhaps you are my son," the Lord replied, "but perhaps you are not. You must prove yourself. You must pass through the 4 chambers of ceremony. The kiva of lions, the kiva of serpents, the kiva of bees, and the kiva of lightning." So there's the father. So now the boy has to prove himself. The boy was not afraid. "Father," he said, "I will endure these trials." So there's the first of the 4 chamber of ceremonies. We've got the kiva of lions. And the boy's there. Ooh, next we have the kiva of serpents. There's the second one. He made it through the first. Oh, look, he makes it through the second. Now he's got to go to the third, the kiva of bees. If I were him, this would be my least favorite one. I really don't like bees. And we are at kiva number 4, the kiva of lightning. So he passes the bees and he gets to the lightning. When the boy came from the kiva of lightning, he was transformed. He was filled with the power of the sun. The father and his son rejoiced. "Now you must return to earth, my son, and bring my spirit to the world of men." So there's the father and the son. Once again, the boy became the arrow. When the arrow reached the earth, the boy emerged and went to the pueblo. So there's the father. He makes the boy the arrow, and he sends them back to earth. So the people celebrated his return in the dance of life. So everybody does a dance to celebrate the boy's return. The end. So that was Arrows to the Sun. So now that we've read, I do have some questions for you guys. So number 1, why do you think the boy left home? This question's to check your listening. Were you paying attention? Because if you were, you know that the boy left home because he wanted to find his father. Okay, so the next question. Do you think that the other boys in the village will continue to make fun of the boy? Do you think that they'll now let him join their games and be friends with him? Maybe, maybe not. This is one we're going to have to just take a guess on. We don't know for sure. Okay, I already kind of answered the third question, but which of the 4 chambers of ceremony do you think would be the scariest? So there's the kiva of lions, the kiva of bees, the kiva of serpents, and the kiva of lightning. Which one of those do you think would be the most scary? I don't like snakes, so I think I would say the kiva of serpents, but I really, really don't like bees. So probably the kiva of bees would be the most scary for me. So I wonder what your guys' answer would be. So at the end of this, okay, this one is going to require a little bit of movement and a little bit of participation. So at the end of the story, on the last page, we saw the whole village dancing this dance of life. So So the story doesn't tell us what the dance looked like or how to do the dance. But why don't you take time to stand up right now and show your family or whoever's around what you think the dance of life would look like. Be silly and show me what you think it would look like. Okay, so now that you settle down and sit back down, the last question is, what is your favorite part of the story? So my favorite part of the story is when the boy emerged from all of the trials of ceremony. That was my favorite part. So let me know what your guys' favorite part of the story was. Okay, guys, that's it for that book.